Alright, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. I hope you are all doing well today. First of all, let us giving opportunity to be here today. I would also like to express our gratitude to Dr. Ais Adeni MPDM Home for giving us the opportunity to present our material today. We are from Group 3. Today, our group will be present about Discourse study in qualitative research. Our group has 4 members. I'm Lauza Alifia, and then there Nurul Maulina, Lisna Oktapia, and Suci Maulani. So the first material will be presented by Nurul Maulina. Please.
All right. Uh, Today I would to explain about introduction. So, what is the meaning of discourse studies? Before we know about the definition of discourse study, we should know about what is the definition of qualitative research. According to Thomas Zewski, 2020, uh, qualitative research is a systematic process of gathering data through words, action, notes, visual interviews, observation, documents, and artifacts. Explore humans' experiences through interpretivist and constructivist perspective. And now, let's move to the definition of uh, discourse study. According to Wodak 2012 and Pandai 2013, discourse studies is a process in investigating, analyzing, understanding, and explaining complex social phenomena using a multidisciplinary and multi-methodological approach. Whilst Khan 1998 argues that the main focus and attention of analytical discourse studies is ideological. And then the objective and structure of this report. The purpose of this report is to understand the use of discourse study methodology in qualitative research, including theoretical foundation, and to demonstrate how this methodology is applied in research. The report is organized into several sections: literature review, methodology, discourse study example, discussion, and also conclusion. And the next slide, please. All right. The next is literature review. According to Renkema and Schubert 2018, discourse study is a field dedicated to investigating the intricate relationship between form and function in verbal communication. Discourse studies focus on how language is used to construct meaning, identity, power, and social relation. Discourse is creative use of language as a social practice. And the focus is on how language is used is contract meaning, identity, power, and social relation. This field has several types that include conversation analysis or critical discourse analysis or CDA, narrative analysis, multimodal discourse analysis or MDA, discursive psychology, political discourse analysis, ethnography and communication, genre analysis, interactional sociolinguistic, and corpus-based discourse analysis. For the example of previous discourse studies and their findings, in educational research, discourse studies has been used to analyze classroom interaction, teacher and student communication, and curriculum text. For instance, Roger 2011 employed critical discourse analysis or CDA to explore how literacy practice in classroom are shaped by social and cultural context. Similarly, Norton and Toohey 2004 used discourse analysis to examine how language learners' identities are negotiated within educational setting. And the studies illustrate that discourse studies is not merely about language structure, but about the social meanings embedded within discourse. These findings often reveal hidden assumptions, inequalities, and cultural norms that shape communication. And for the next slide, I'll give to the next presenter, please.
All right, thank you. Well, I would like to discuss
about methodology. The first point is detailed explanation of discourse studies methodology. A study by Mandarani et al. 2021 entitled A CDA Perspective of Cultural Contents in the English Junior High School Textbooks. This study has a descriptive qualitative design which uses content analysis based on Briam's 1989 and 1994 categories as an analytical technique, then followed by CDA of the text through a process of description, interpretation, and explanation based on Fairclough in 1995 and 2003. And then procedures for data collection. The data of this research are extracted from the revised edition of an official student's English textbook for Indonesian students in secondary school, entitled When English Rings a Bell 2016 for 7th grade, and then When English Rings a Bell 2017 for 8th grade, and also Think Globally, Act Locally 2018 for 7th grade. And then for the data analysis technique, the first step the researchers took was to read three different books, like I have mentioned before, with totally 6,046 pages. Then the researchers classified the words, images, and reading sections. After that, in the process of CDA implementation, a textual analysis based on Briam's categories was conducted by the researchers. After that, they continue with the process of interpreting each category to reveal evidence of the manifestation of global culture in the textbooks. And finally, critical analysis is a description of how much space is given to local culture in the textbooks. That's all for the methodology section. For the next presenter, time is yours.
All right, thank you, Lisna. Now, here I will explain what discourse study example. Their discourse analysis used to study Indonesian junior high school English textbook, When English Rings and Bell, and also Think Globally, Act Locally. This is slide from Mandarani, Purwati, and Santoso 2021. The study applied critical discourse analysis for Fairclough's three-dimensional framework text, discourse practice, and social culture practice, combined with Briam's cultures categories to examine how culture is represented in Indonesian junior high school English textbook When English Rings a Bell for grades 7 until 8 and Think Globally, Act Locally in grade 9. Using a descriptive qualitative approach and content analysis, the researchers analyzed textual, visual, and discourse element in three stages. First is describing the text, second, interpreting cultural content, and the last is explaining its socio-cultural meaning. For key findings, focus on local culture, names, folktales, food tradition, target or global culture less visible. It seemed like an imbalance because CDA revealed that the textbook not only teach language but also embed into ideologies such as nationalism, morality, and also social harmony. Textbook promote nationalism, morality, and social harmony needs more balance for intercultural competence. So it means the study concludes promoting local cultural values is important, and a better balance with global and target cultures is needed to prepare students for international communication. All right, maybe that's all. Let's move to the next material will be presented by Suci, please.
All right, the next material is discussion. There are 3 points. The first is interpretation of the results from the discourse studies. The result of the CDA study demonstrate that the source culture dominates or its priorities over the target culture or international culture. This prioritization serves as evidence that the government wants to strengthen character, education, and national identity. However, it can also be a barrier to improving cultural competence.
And then the second is implication for qualitative research. In qualitative research, this study reveals how discourse in textbook can reflect power relations and socio-political agendas through the CDA, demonstrating the value of CDA. The result of this study shows that textbooks function as ideological transmitter and are not neutral. And the third is strength and limitation of using discourse studies in qualitative research. One of the strengths of CDA in its ability to combine textual, interpretative, and sociocultural analysis, thus providing a holistic understanding of meaning formation. Uh, However, CDA also has limitations, such as its interpretative nature, where results are influenced by the researcher's perspective, knowledge, and the perspective and the knowledge. All right, that's all from me. I'll give it back to Lauza.
Alright, Suci, thank you for the opportunity. The next slide will be explained about conclusion. The study shows that Indonesian junior high school English textbook embed cultural elements but still emphasize the target culture with limited core food traditions help strengthen national identity. Using Faircloth's CDA framework, the researcher revealed how textbook discourse reflects ideology, reinforces norms, and shapes students' cultural awareness. CDA contributes to qualitative research by exposing hidden power relations and cultural representations in learning materials. Future studies are encouraged to promote a more balanced mix of sources, targets, and global cultures, and to examine teachers' role in applying those materials to foster intercultural competence and broaden learners' perspective. All right, here our references in our discourse studies analysis. Maybe that's our presentation today. Sorry for all our mistakes, and the last wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.